Hey, Dad.
Hello, kiddo. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. It's a little bit cold up here, but not as cold as it was in the woods.
Yeah, it looked like you had a pretty good trip there, except for the snow.
I enjoyed the snow a lot, actually. I thought it was super fun, and I wanted to test out my skills and see if I could do it. Ready to head out to the Ochocos. I don't know exactly where I'm staying. It's unfortunate that I don't have backpacking equipment because this would make it a lot easier for me to just find a place to park and then backpack in because there's plenty of dispersed camping. But this time of year, early December, actually no, it's mid-December now, that's so wild. But it's gonna be harder to find places where I can pull right up and camp. So we're gonna see what we can find. I specifically want to go camping alone because it's kind of an empowering thing, you know? Yeah. Like, I'd never gone out and done anything like that on my own. And so the first time that I did it was just to prove that I could. And now I've done it, 4 or 5 different times?
Well, it's pretty brave to even go out and undertake something like that because most people will never do that. It's like, jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. Why would I do that?
I thought it was just women when I told them, I'm going camping alone. They're like, oh, aren't you scared? But I've also had now men react the same way. Yeah, they're like, why would you do that? It's cold out there. Reached our first place of interest. Oh man, yeah, the snow is not going anywhere. Okay, I've learned from previous walking in the snow that it gets very slick. So I'm going to be very careful. It's so perfect. And it feels kind of like I'm marring it a little bit. Yeah. It looks like this is probably dispersed camping. I saw that was what's around here, so I'm not just completely guessing. I know that there is dispersed camping and that this is BLM land. So I'm going to explore a little bit more before I get too cold. And then I'll probably keep driving a little bit further just to see, because one thing that's missing here is where to make my fire. Whoop. Yep, okay. Don't get too cocky. That's beautiful. Oh my gosh.
Well, it's nice that you remembered you had a 4-wheel drive this time.
I'm very proud of myself, yes. I probably could have made it into the first place that I was looking at as a camping spot. I shouldn't have been so nervous.
Well, it's possible, but you don't want to do something like that when you're alone, because if you get stuck, you're in trouble. And if you had a winch on the front, that would be one thing, because then you could attach it to a tree or something and pull yourself out. But without that, or without someone else to help you out, you're stuck. And if you're out of a cell phone range, you're not going to get any help.
Yep, then I would have had to hike out. Yeah, that would have been a very different experience. Yeah. As expected, the campground is closed. And it also looks like it's farther than I want to walk with any of my gear. Because like I said earlier, I do not have backpacking gear. So there's a couple things I could do. I can go back to that previous spot that looked very much like a camp space. I could just camp here in this little area, because again, it's only for one night. Or there is further up this way, there's another road that goes back there a little ways. I think that's what I'm leaning towards right now. But I wanted to look at the beginning of this trail because this might be a trail I end up doing. There are 2 of them. There's this one that way, and there's like a 3-mile thing, and then there's a 9-mile thing. So I'm obviously not going to do the 9 miles. I'm not in that kind of shape right now. And this one here even says large group site. So I don't know if that means because it looks like a parking lot for people to go do the trail. But maybe across here. Oh, I see a bench. Maybe this is what I'm gonna do. It would kind of be annoying to have to go back and forth with all my stuff across this bridge. But also, isn't this super cute? Alright, let's go explore this large group site. It might be that it's meant to be used like as a day site, which makes a lot of sense. Oh, they're cute. Look at that. I wonder what kind of plant these are. But they look very pretty during the summer and springtime. Okay, well, there's something to be said about having a table. And there's bathrooms. Oh, I mean, because, again, it is very difficult to have to dig a space if I have to go number 2 in a frozen ground. Ooh, I like this. This is great. Okay, alright. I think this might be what we do. And there's a place to have my fire. So, I've made it all the way to the Wildcat campground, which isn't super far, but it was definitely like a little nerve-wracking once the road ended and I was in the snow. I do have 4-wheel drive. I learned that since last time. Okay, so it's just two different paths that come around in a circle here.
Did you set your tent right up on top of the snow?
I thought about digging it out because I've heard both ways.
Yeah, the only thing I'm thinking why you would do that is because your body heat is going to melt the snow and get you wet from the bottom, I would think.
Okay, so I got my tent set up and my sleeping pad down, so now I can go get all of my bedding and my backpack with my clothes in it. Obviously the sun hasn't set yet, but we're definitely on the countdown now. We've got maybe an hour left, and luckily it's a full moon. I planned it that way. I wanted to be out here on the last full moon of the year. Just thought it would be really cool. And that means that even though it's cloudy, it should disperse the light a little bit and be not like pitch black.
And you were warm enough this time, huh?
Yeah, my layers were, so there was the tarp that was like on the very bottom, and then there's the tarp that comes with the tent, and then just the tent itself, and then my the sleeping pad, and then an extra sleeping bag, and then my sleeping bag, and then inside my sleeping bag was my extra blanket, and then all my clothes shoved in at my feet. I appreciate you giving me the advice of using lint for the fire.
Well, the issue was, I did mention the kindling. The lint is not going to start the big old pieces of firewood. It has to have some type of kindling.
Yeah, and I didn't get any, so I used just the wet, like, branches that I could find near my campsite.
One thing that you did have with you that I never thought about mentioning either was
oh, the jet boil?
Jet boil to get your fire started. I mean, it's a lot of heat. That would have done it.
Because I kept thinking like, oh, if only I had like a torch or something, because I see, people who are car camping use these torches. I did not even think, duh, I do have a torch. It's just not how I usually use it, right? Okay, I don't know where you can see me or how creepy I look. Could be, but my fire didn't work. Not surprisingly, I'm not very good at it. I'm not too disappointed because I kind of knew that's, been how since I started camping. It's not late enough to go to sleep or anything, I didn't end up making dinner because I didn't feel hungry yet. So I had a glass of wine and I played around with my fire for over an hour. Now I'm in my tent. I'm gonna crawl under the covers and read basically until I have to go pee or I get hungry. And then I'll venture back on out there. Good morning. Whew, it's about 7:30. Oh man. I didn't expect to sleep so, I mean, it's not late. I usually get up at 8 or 8:30 in the morning, but normally, especially when it's cold and I'm struggling to sleep, I get up basically when the sun is up. It was snowing all night long, which was really cool to fall asleep to. I didn't think I'd like it as much as rain, but I think I do. Well, anyways, one interesting thing is you'll see that there's snow here. Here, I'm gonna kick it right now. You feel, it freaked me out the first couple of times. And that, because it would just get heavy and then it would fall randomly. And so the first time it happened, I was like, oh no, what is that? And then I realized, oh, it's just the snow. So, Dad, I took your advice and I did my planks and got myself all warm before I crawled into my sleeping bag. And then I shoved all of my extra clothes into the part with my toes. And I brought my blanket from home. And that was really cozy and nice. So, yeah, I think I did a good job. Yeah, it was snowing for hours last night. Oh my gosh, look at that. Oh, Olivia. She is covered. She's also so dirty because it gets warmer like 10 minutes that way. And everything was, all the snow was melted yesterday. Let's see. Wow. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. I think I just got some snow down my sock. Ugh. That always sucks. Man, it's gorgeous out here though. I'm so glad I got to experience this. I just can't get over the fact that I live next to this beautiful forest. These are the Ochocos, by the way, if I hadn't said that before. And man, I'm just really lucky. Anyways, I'm gonna chow down. This is a curry, coconut curry broth that my husband made. Let's see if I can get a good shot of it. I mean, it just looks like delicious. So I think it was a good like practice run for like being in the snow, dealing with extra cold, without having to deal with like the backpacking element. Like it was very, what's it called? Luxury. It was a luxury camping, you know?
I went regular camping one time. It was for one of the triathlons we were doing. And this one gal brought a sleeping bed, basically. It was a blow-up one, but it was like a full double or possibly a queen-size mattress. I'm looking there. She got a table set up here for books and stuff. Okay, you're not going to rough it too much here, are you? You go, no, if I'm going to camp, I want to be comfortable. Yeah, see, if you're not backpacking, Why not?
Definitely what I'm finding out with the backpacking stuff is it just takes a while, you know, unless you're going on the JMT and you need to be set and you're just willing, you know, to get it all at once.
Well, yeah, very true, it does. And when you're doing something like a GMT where you're going multiple days like that, you're also looking at the lightest stuff you can afford. Because the lighter you go, the more expensive it is.
Yeah, makes sense. It's like women's bikinis, right? The less fabric, the more expensive.
Yeah, I guess because they're magic holding them together, and magic is expensive. I'm not sure.
I think I'm going to set that for 2025 is to go backpacking by myself at least once. Oh man, that was, well, as you can see, my hair is out of my hat, gloves are off. I'd take off this jacket except that it's basically raining from the trees because the temperature is going up so quickly. As soon as the sun came over the mountain over there, yeah, immediately made a difference. But yeah, got all my stuff over here. The last thing was getting the firewood back because I bought 2 bundles and didn't end up being able to burn any of it. So disappointing. My resolution for next year is to get better at making fires.
Then you went out for how long did you go? An hour, 2 hours?
Yeah, like an hour. Yeah, I felt, and when I say an hour, like I didn't go as far as I would in like on a trail without a bunch of fresh snow in an hour. It was really hard.
Hiking in the snow is tough. How deep was it?
It was probably, let's see, it was getting up to my ankle, so maybe a foot. No, a little bit less than a foot, like, you know, yeah, 6 to 8 inches.
Yeah, makes it tough to see what's underneath too.
Yeah, that was something that I didn't even think about. What did you call it? Snow bridges?
Snow bridges, yeah. It's just it forms over an area for whatever reason that it's actually vacant underneath, you know, because of the way storms and snow form, and you might walk on it and it'll fall right through because there's nothing underneath it. If it's small enough, you know, which I fell on one in the JM2, you know, it's just going to drop you down a short distance with your foot and you'll catch yourself. But you get in the bigger hills and you go over something like that, you could fall in the crevasse and be gone.
So I decided to end the hike by coming through the campground back to where I stayed. Oh my gosh, I underestimated how hard it is to walk through the snow when it's fresh and without snowshoes. This is hurting my ankles and the snow is going into my shoes. Thanks for joining me, Dad. I hope you had as much fun as I did and that you weren't too nervous for me. I don't think you're ever going to join me on this one. I think your phrasing is something along the lines of, why would I jump out of a perfectly good plane? And why would I sleep outside in the snow when I could be inside where it's nice and warm? So maybe I am a little bit crazy, but man, was it fun.
It sounded like you had a good time though on your trip there.
It is very magical waking up to everything covered in white.
Yeah, I imagine it is, especially your tent. Makes you look outside and say, no, it's not time to get up yet.
Well, thanks for watching my video and joining me on my camping trip, Dad.
Because it was fun to watch. Like I say, it's in the snow, not sure I'm gonna go, but maybe. Never say never, right?
Exactly. Never say never, Dad. All right. I love you, Dad. Mwah.
Love you too, kid. Bye, kiddo.